France has officially acknowledged for the first time that French Polynesians were effectively forced into accepting almost 200 nuclear tests conducted over a 30-year period, and that it is responsible for compensating them for the illnesses caused by the fallout.
This post received a score of 52,874, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
200, wow. That's a lot of destruction. I always thought it was a couple of underground explosions.
There have been over 2,000 nuclear explosions since 1945. Here is a stunning video summarizing them all.
Jesus Christ, at 3:50 it starts to sound like a fucking casino.
2:05 Player 2 has entered the game. Edit, pretty much just USA and the Soviet Union in a massive dick-waving contest with France begging to be taken seriously after being steamrolled.
What happened to the UK? Did they get bored of bombing Australia?
Maybe Australia finally said go blow up your own damned island.
UK, well we were but you got all pissy about it.
Ouse, that's it. Unleash the drop bears.
City 40 on Netflix is a cracking documentary about a hidden city in Russia that inflicted all sorts of death and destruction on its citizens in the name of nuclear weapons research and development. The secondary plot follows a remarkable human rights lawyer who fought for justice for the victims but was eventually forced to flee to France with her family under threat of imprisonment by the Russian government.
This documentary reminds me of the fact that Soviet Union did nuclear tests, nuclear experiments in places which were effectively captured by Russian Empire and are home to indigenous population, e.g. Novaya Zemlya is native land of Nenets people, Kishtim, of Bashkir people, and etc. A lot of nuclear test sites in the world are just an embodiment of colonialism.
That's exactly what it is. People never think of Russia as having colonies, but that's just because their only route for expansion was eastward over frozen land and not overseas. This allowed them to connect Russians to much of Siberia and spread out, but the fact remains that Russians are often an ethnic minority in many places in Siberia.
Oh my god.
Where will Dutch and his gang go to now?
We need some hope.
You mean some #GODDAMNFAITH.
Just a modicum.
Yeah. And then when Greenpeace tried to bring this to the public's attention, the French authorities sabotaged and sunk their ship Rainbow Warrior in an Australian port, killing one man on board. Google it. Edit, New Zealand port, I promise I know my stuff. Edit 2.
France helped propel the anti-nuclear stance further in New Zealand than any activist could have ever hoped. It also resulted in a surge of New Zealand nationalism because the United States and the United Kingdom mostly kept quiet about the whole thing, especially when France boycotted NZ's exports and used its power in Europe to threaten NZ access to the free market. This led NZ to distance itself from those countries and mostly rely on itself and Australia. A NZ Defence Force Navy ship was allowed to dock at Pearl Harbor, which hadn't been allowed since the ANZUS Defence Pact was suspended in the 1980s.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.